Today we're going to dive back into the Mythic Odysseys of Theros and take a look at the playable race, the Satyr. But before we grab our fiddle made of gold, be sure to like and subscribe to the channel. And now, let's see what we can build today on Rolling with Advantage. Today, as we dive in, we take a look at the Satyr. One of the things that we do on our race reviews is we're going to go and we're going to take a look at how to role play. We're going to look at the background, what makes up that character, that race particularly, and then that will then give us an idea on what to build. And I'm going to give you guys a couple of ideas. Some are obvious, some maybe not so much, of some different directions that we can take this race and have a lot of fun with it. Out of the gate, a lot of people are going to have a lot of preconceived notions about a Satyr. It's one of those races that a lot of people, we've run into them in previous games or previous editions, but now that we actually play one, the thing is, how much of that information that we had before do we bring in and put into this character? So what we want to take a look and see if there's anything in here that's out of the ordinary, something different. Now, we all know about satyrs. We know about their love for partying and revelry and being promiscuous and, just kind of being troublesome. And one of the things we take a look at as we look at the race details is it does talk about how they're born of the wild. They do look human for the most part, except for, the horns, the elven ears, and of course the hooven feet, the furry legs. Those are things that set them apart, obviously. Now, as we go in and we take a look, one of the things that strikes me is, the idea that they love to embrace life, that they want to go out and they want to enjoy and just experience culture and life, and they want to maybe they're actual explorers, where they just want to go and explore everything that life has to offer. I think that makes this pretty interesting. The other thing that we take a look at with them is that there are sometimes, a lot of people think that just, the horny bard is the first place you go with a satyr, and I'm not saying you can't. I think it's a fun way to play, but I think there's some other opportunities to kind of, dive in and kind of lean more into the fey aspect of it. This is a character that is probably going to, shy away from law and be more on the chaotic side, even though I don't really prescribe to alignment that much in my games. It's a loose idea that these characters are generally going to be the ones that, I don't necessarily see like a really strong oath paladin, satyr. You could probably do something like maybe like a green knight with it, something of that nature, but I think this is more of that chaotic roguey bard that we take a look at when we build a satyr. So as we go through and we take a look, as far as they're creatures of nature, and I think one of the things that I would pick up with them is that they are very good at manipulating people through their charisma. And as we go through and we can take a look at their actual traits themselves, the charisma they get is a bonus of +2, and they get dexterity +1. That is an amazing stat bonus for any race, because those are two of the strongest stats in the game. And here in the alignment, it says what I talked about before. They live free of the mantle of law, so they gravitate more towards that chaotic or devious streaks, things of that nature. Speed, they have a base walking speed of 35 feet, and that is one of those things I've said in previous videos with other races that have increased the speed. It is up to the DM to help with this, because narratively they are a little bit faster than everybody else. I play a very tactical game, so a lot of times when I bring my board or mat or Roll20 grid or whatever out, 5 feet may not make a huge difference, but there are times that it does. But I believe narratively, as a DM, it's my job to make sure that player who has the faster character feels that they are faster. Whether it's getting away from somebody or chasing someone down, it should come into play occasionally. But I have a build idea today where that actually may be a bigger boon than it would be normally. They are considered fey rather than humanoid. That matters a lot whenever you're dealing with certain magical effects. So just kind of keep that in the back of your mind, that you're actually a fey, not a humanoid. Ram, you can use your head and horns to make unarmed strikes. You deal bludgeoning damage. It's 1d4 plus your strength modifier. Being that this character is going to be more dexterous and more charismatic, I don't think that modifier will ever be that great. I don't know, maybe there's a strength satyr build out there that I'm not really seeing. You could definitely play against type, but I think this is more a great thing to have in the back of your pocket. You know, like, I look at things like this as like, you're in the tavern, you're not ever actually unarmed. You could always headbutt somebody over a poker game or something. I think that'd be kind of fun. The big ability that satyrs get that is absolutely crazy good is magic resistance. You have advantage on saving throws against spells and other magical effects. That ability is crazy good. And honestly, this is immediately going to shoot this race up to a top tier race pick, simply off of the +2 to charisma, +1 to dex, and advantage on saving throws. This immediately should be a very high contender of anything you want to play, particularly if you're going to be doing something that's dex or charisma based. I would highly suggest taking a look at playing a satyr. Mirthful leaps. This is interesting because of the way the legs are built on a satyr. They can leap a little bit further than everybody. You get to roll an extra d8 whenever you're talking about doing a long or a high jump. I think that, coupled with their base speed, can kind of help get your idea of that, hey, you can jump and you can leap, you can move a little bit faster. Now, Reveler is an ability that this race gets that I think really helps us in the design process of what we're going to build. They get proficiency in performance and persuasion, and they also get a musical instrument of your choice. So they are natural entertainers, musicians, they are natural bards. So you could play a satyr bard and it would be great. A lot of fun. There's a lot of natural synergy. Because you're already getting these two skills, you could actually take other skills with your bard. So I think a bard satyr would be a whole lot of fun. In fact, one of my nephews is playing one of these in Austin, Texas, and is having a lot of fun with it. So shout out to you. Keep rolling your satyr bard. But I have a different idea. As I'm taking a look at some of this, I found a build that if I were to play a satyr, this is the direction that I would go. So first, we're going to go into D&D Beyond, and we're going to take a look at satyr. We're going to go to Reveler, and we're going to pick an instrument. Viol. The old fiddle made of gold. That's what we're going to do, because my satyr's coming down to Georgia. I am Southern. I have a horrible Southern accent, and I apologize, but I do the best that I can. So we're going to take a look at this. We're going to take this race. We're going to go to class. And then for my proficiencies, I'm going to pick deception and investigation. I already have persuasion and I already have performance for being a satyr. And now I'm picking these up. Now I'm picking warlock, archfey. There is a lot of amazing synergy between warlock, archfey, and satyr. And I'm going to show you here at first level. Let's take a look at the expanded spell list for being this particular warlock. We get Fairy Fire and Sleep. Sleep is something I think is a great spell for a satyr to have. The idea of, I think, Mr. Tumnus in Lion Witch in the Wardrobe playing his instrument, putting Lucy to sleep. I think that is perfectly on brand with a satyr. I like Calm Emotions, Phantasmal Force, good spell. I like Blink a lot on a caster. And then we look at the later on, we get Dominate Beast and Dominate Person. Both of those are very on brand what I think of a satyr, kind of controlling and manipulating those around him. And of course, they get greater invisibility. They get access to that. So these are this is a great expanded spell list for our satyr warlock. The big ability they get is Fey Presence at level 1. As an action, you can cause creatures that you want to within 10 feet of you to make a wisdom saving throw, or they are charmed or frightened of you, your choice. And you can use this in pretty much every combat, every encounter, because it's every short or long rest. This is a perfect ability for a satyr. So I think a satyr, warlock, archfey could be a lot of fun. Now, let's take a look at level 1. What spells am I taking? Of course, this is going to be my Eldritch Blast character. Now, I like the idea of having a ranged character that has a base walking speed of 35 feet. You're going to be able to kite or keep things at a distance extremely well. I also like the idea that I can have friends, which is a great cantrip for anyone who's going to be, the face or the talker of the group. I've seen so many times where you send, the charismatic bard or rogue or whatever in to talk to somebody, and they get like a +8 and they roll a 1 or a 2. And this really helps prevent that and really kind of pushes that character over the edge for being the face of the character. So of the party, really love the spell Friends. As far as my spells go, I feel like I have to have Charm Person as this character because it's exactly what I'm trying to do. And Hex is this is your standard Warlock, amazing spell to make that Eldritch Blast hit really hard. So as far as abilities, here's where I went with point buy. You want to have a really high charisma. We get a +2 here, so that gets us to that 16. I like having a good wisdom. I think it should be an intelligence. I like the back half of stats for this character. 12 to constitution, because we need some. And then a 13 dex with the +1 that we're getting with the satyr is going to put me at 14, and strength is your dump stat for this character. For background, I chose anthropologist. I've been wanting to make a character with this background for a while. I think this one is perfect because he's fascinated by other cultures. It goes into that whole exploration, that whole idea that the satyr wants to go out and enjoy life. He wants to learn about all these different cultures. I like the fact that I get extra languages. I pick up insight, which I think is a great skill for this character. And the other thing, too, is I like the adept linguist. If he is the face, he should be able to communicate with anything and everybody, and I think a satyr is perfect for anthropology. I think this is an amazing background for this race class combo. I think it's great. For equipment, standard, leather dagger. So level 1, we're not crazy powerful. We have a couple of really cool abilities with the Archfey ability to charm or fear everybody around us. We're going to be rocking our Eldritch Blast. We can ram people if we need to. Nothing crazy to write home about, but let's build them up a little bit. So let's go back here. Let's just shoot them all the way up to level 5, and let me show you what I would take. For my level 2 option, you've got some things here. I like Agonizing Blast, and I also like Repelling Blast. Where's Repelling Blast? Right here. Alright, so Repelling Blast is the ability that I would actually build this whole character around. When you hit a creature with Eldritch Blast, you can push that creature up to 10 feet away from you in a straight line. So let's think about this. If you can walk 35 feet and you're pushing people 10 feet back, you're creating this huge zone away from people. I also like the idea that my satyr is basically using an Eldritch Blast to kind of like ram people back. So it kind of goes with the whole horns thing. In fact, maybe if you want to get crazy with it, maybe your Eldritch Blast actually comes out of your horns. I think that would be kind of cool. Or maybe it comes out of your instrument if you're running around with a fiddle or a lute or whatever. I think it'd be interesting what that looks like. For the other option here, you could take Agonizing Blast to make the damage better. We'll take that. There's a couple other things here. I like Mask of Many Faces. I also like the one that gives us better armor, but we'll take that one. And then for our level 5 option, I think you're going to be going in and out of places. I really like Mask of Many Faces. I like being able to cast Disguise Self at will. I think that's a fun one. For Pact Boon, alright, so here's the thing. A lot of people here will take, Pact of the Chain to pick up a familiar, which is good. Or you can pick up Pact of the Tome to pick up extra spells. If I'm going to be going full on, Fey with this, I like the idea of having a sprite with me. I think that'd be a lot of fun. I think a satyr warlock running around with a sprite, so I'd pick Pact of the Chain. For my ability score improvement, of course, we are going to just get all the charisma. Alright, so, and as far as spells go, we all know how warlocks work. You don't have a lot of spell slots, so you have to really be judicious on what you pick and have different things for different abilities for times. I like Suggestion a lot. And then I like things like Hypnotic Pattern. I think that's a good spell to have. These are just different ideas that I'm throwing out there to kind of say, hey, this is the way I would like to play this particular character. I'm all about this guy keeping distance. I like invisibility. I like hold person. This is at level 5. Let's see what else we got. We get one more cantrip. The other cantrip that I really like here, I like minor illusion. There's a lot of really cool tricks. My favorite minor illusion trick is if you're trying to like, get away or something, is to create a crate that you're basically under. So you basically illusion crate or a rock and you just hide up under it. I think it's a really cool thing to do. I've done it a couple times in games. It's a lot of fun. You duck down the alley and you illusion a bunch of trash that you're under. So you basically use it to hide. So I like that a lot. So these are the spells that I like for this. So this is what the character will look like at level 5. You're basically, you're a blaster, you do some decent damage, you've got some control aspects with the charm, and you are the face of the party, and you are still a bard musician in the sense that you have performance, you have an instrument, you have deception, you have persuasion, you have a lot of the things that we'd normally need in a bard, but we also have the aspect of doing all the things that we could do as a warlock. Now, that being said, once I got my 5 levels, me personally, I think I would take this character all the way up straight warlock. You could actually multi-class here and go pick up bard. I think it's a very natural thing to do, to pick up some of those like expertise skills and things of that nature. I like lore bard a lot on a satyr. That's my favorite of the bards, I think. That and College of Whispers. College of Whispers is a very close second for me. So you could do like a College of Whispers Fey bard, a Fey lock. It'd be kind of interesting. But personally, I'd like to see this warlock go all the way up as a satyr. Fey build would be a lot of fun. So if you have played a satyr, I would love to hear your feedback. I think this is a race we've been dying for a long time. I'm excited to finally see him in game. I love role-playing big, gregarious characters. Bard is probably my favorite class to play because they can do everything. But I really like the idea of the Phaelok Satyr. So if you've played one, please let me know what your experience was like in the comments below. I'd love to hear any stories from the table. If there's any weird builds that you're seeing out there, this is pretty new. I'm still building with these. I'd love to see what else is out there. But for now, that's it. If you like this kind of content, be sure to like, subscribe to the channel. Until next time, keep rolling with advantage. Thanks.